Hello and welcome to Word Life Videocast. I'm Pastor Willie. I pastor Word Life Ministries International Church. We're located at 6075 Winchester in Memphis at the Hickory Ridge Mall. Sunday mornings at 9. We expect you to come and join us for a refreshing time in the Word. Well, a lot of things have transpired since I've made my last video, which has probably been 8 or 9 months ago, approaching a year for sure. And as you know, my wife and I, we both tested positive for COVID August the 4th. Really, it was the night of August the 3rd of 2021. But since that time, we have both well recovered. We living and we did not die. Thankful to God. We kept speaking God's word that we would live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. I had the most severe case. I went from 260 pounds to 220 pounds. That's a 40-pound weight loss. And I did that within a couple of weeks after contracting COVID. I lost my appetite, lost my sense of smell, my sense of taste. And you know, sense of smell and taste are vital. And having a wonderful, hearty, healthy appetite is paramount. So, but again, we've both recovered. We're blessed and well. Our lungs are healed and made whole. We no longer have a shortness of breath. And my case was more severe than my wife Anita's case was. Thank God we didn't have to go to the hospital. Many people that end up in the hospital end up in the grave. So we're back on our feet and we're back at church teaching the uncompromised word of faith. Just wanted to give you an update on that and let you know there are many cures out there and medications that are designed to help suppress the high elevation levels of COVID that a person can take. You have to ask your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I had thought about going to medical school, as probably many young people had at one time, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical specialist. I'm not a neurologist or cardiologist or any of that. Just things you learn when you encounter certain illnesses. You learn drug names and what the purpose of those drugs are for. There's tons of things out there, or at least several good medications out there that could help you. One of them is remdesivir that could certainly help you. It suppresses the COVID's worst conditions, which we didn't know about remdesivir at the time, or hydroxychloroquine either. But those are two that you need to talk to your doctor about that can get you back up on your feet and running in just a few days rather than weeks of dealing with the horrors. And I'm telling you, it was horrible. I was sicker than I had ever been in my life because I've never been a sick person. And my doctors have always said, Willie, you're one of those people who never get sick. There are people like that, and you're one of them. But if you ever get sick, you're going to be down for the count. Boy, I was down for the count. Matter of fact, I was close to leaving this earth. My wife recovered a whole lot quicker than I did for some reason. But doctors say women recover from COVID quicker than men do in most cases. And in this case, my wife Anita did. She began to take care of me and bring food. I had no appetite. I didn't eat for 5 days straight. 5 days straight. No food, no appetite. No taste for food. Sense of smell was gone. I also had another symptom of the COVID because I had COVID, both, again, my wife and I, and it was the inability to stay awake. The inability to stay awake. I could not stay awake. If you gave me $50 million, that wouldn't have been enough. Wait a minute. Let me rethink that. Well, that might have been enough to keep me awake. But nevertheless, my point is, no matter what, I could not stay awake. I'd sit up on the side of the bed, barely, to go to the restroom. And the moment I sat up, it felt like all of the oxygen in my lungs immediately depleted. I fell right back into the bed, went to sleep for another 4 or 5 hours. Then your body starts to wake you up when you need to go to the restroom. You know that. It's not like people say, well, the Lord woke me up this morning. God didn't wake you up unless he woke you up and gave you some specific instructions. God does not wake you up every morning. And I know that's against what a lot of pastors teach, but it's not biblical. You won't find in the Bible that God is responsible for waking your behind up every day. That comes from your neurological system, the brain, that God designs to wake people up. But nevertheless, all of my oxygen in my lungs felt like they depleted. I'd lay down, and then 3 or 4 hours later, my body would start letting me know you need to go to the restroom. See, God built that into your system. He didn't wake me up. My system did that. Of course, our system is designed by God because we are created fearfully and wonderfully made. But it wasn't God waking me up. Says, okay, time to go to the restroom. God had far more important things than to wake people up to go to the toilet. So nevertheless, I got up. I'd sit on the side of the bed. And the moment I sat up, my head was spinning like a top. My equilibrium was off. I try to hold on to the walls. It felt like the entire room was just spinning and spinning. I couldn't make sense of anything. I grabbed the wall and I tried to call my wife, but she said my voice had gotten so weak, excuse me, until it sounded like I was a different person. She said, honey, what's wrong? I can't understand you. Your voice is not the same. It wasn't the same. But I'd almost make it to the restroom. Then I'd barely make it to the restroom. And I finally got in there. And it was like I had 30,000 people on my shoulders. It was just, so difficult to move and to go. And I would have to stop and hold on to the walls to keep me from feeling like I was spinning, even though my body was standing still. But again, my equilibrium and the fluids in my inner ear, they were all off, making me feel I was twisting in a certain direction or turning in a circle. So after I finally closed my eyes and steadied myself, I could walk back to the bed. And when I sat down, felt like I had been working 38 hours without a bit of sleep. I was completely, absolutely, unequivocally exhausted. I lay back down. My wife would try to bring me something, some tea with honey and other things in it. And I would take probably a half of a sip, not an entire sip, a half of sip. And I'd put that cup back down and I'd lay back down in that bed again. I'd go to sleep for 7 or 8 hours. Sometimes I almost slept a full 24 hours. The inability to stay awake is one of the elements when a person has COVID, along with those I've mentioned already, which are a lack of taste, a lack of smell, and a loss of the appetite. And when you don't have the ability to taste food, then eating, your appetite will diminish because food tastes good when it's cooked properly, whether it's cooked at home or cooked, you order in from a restaurant or something, and it just doesn't taste the same. So you lose your appetite for food. But we have, like I said, we have fully recovered. We have both taken both of our Pfizer shots. We took one shot in August. Then a month later, we took one in September of 2021. So just a month apart. By the way, at the time of the making of this video, today is Sunday, December 5th, 2021. And I wanted to date it that way so you can know where we came from in August the 4th of 21. Now we're in December the 5th of 21. So we have matter of fact, we had covered long before I'm doing this video. But my sister Marcella, who's taking care of my mother in St. Louis, she said, Willie, why don't you start making those videos again so mama can see you, on the YouTube and on video. So I decided to go ahead and start doing that. And then to get back to it also so that people who enjoy our teachings can know that I'm a pastor, where our church is. So if they're looking for a word-based, spirit-filled, non-denominational church where I teach the word, I'm not a screaming, holler, yelling preacher. I'm a Bible teacher. I break things down into bite-sized, palatable chunks so that you can hear it, believe it, receive it, understand it, act on it, and then get the results coming forward. So if you're looking for a good church that teaches the word, we invite you to come out and join us. Now, again, I'll give you the address in just a few minutes before we conclude. So I want to highly inspire those of you who may have COVID and you're watching this, or maybe you know someone that has COVID, have contracted COVID, and you want to be a blessing to them. Let them know. The third thing I wanted to tell you about, other than remdesivir and hydroxychloroquine, is the I think it's the monoclonal. That's it, monoclonal infusion, which will have you back up and on your feet in 2 or 3 days. It's the monoclonal. It's another word that goes with it. It'll come to me in a minute, but it's monoclonal infusion. Talk to your doctor about that. Don't wait until you get to a severe case to where you're almost dead and gone. Oh, monoclonal antibodies infusion. That's it. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Monoclonal antibody infusion. That will go into your system, and I guarantee you within 2 or 3 days, you will be up and on your feet, feeling wonderful, feeling great, rather than waiting around for 10 days and starting to feel a little better, or you may not make it at all and end up departing from this earth. Also, some vitamins that my doctor, my wife and our doctor, she recommended to us. Here are those vitamins that really will help to build and strengthen your immune system. Vitamin B12, that's the B complex vitamins, vitamins B12. B12 means it has all the B vitamins in it. 1, 2, 3, B4, B5, B12, number one. And they go in order, the first three anyway. So vitamin B12 complex, vitamin C, that's calcium, vitamin D, get D2. As a matter of fact, I would recommend you asking your doctor for a D2 prescription, because the vitamin Ds that you purchase over the counter, those are very weak and they are low in milligrams. But if you ask your doctor to write you a vitamin D2 prescription, those pills each have 50,000 milligrams. They are 50,000 milligrams each pill, and they'll usually give you 4 pills in a bottle, and you'll take 1 pill the same day every week for 4 weeks. So we take our vitamin D, 50,000 milligram, doctor prescribed, on Sunday. So my wife will take one, I'll take one, and then we won't take another one until the next Sunday. So you'll take them the same day every week for 4 weeks. And just on the third one, when you're about to run out, unless you have refills prescribed on your prescription, then you can go ahead and start ordering some more. But I'm telling you what, our immune system's got really built. Oh, zinc. Don't forget zinc. So again, vitamin B complex, vitamin C, vitamin D2, 50,000 milligram by your doctor's prescription. Ask your doctor to prescribe those for you. Vitamin D2, 50,000 milligram. And also we took zinc. Boy, our immune system, which is the system God put in you to help ward off sickness and disease, became so strong and powerful. Also, if you've already had COVID and you've recovered, then you have what is called natural immunity. Natural immunity. So your system now is on the alert, since your body has already been attacked. I mean, when COVID attacked, it attacked. I wasn't one that had a mild case. I don't think my case was even moderate. I believe I had a severe case of the 19, is what I call it. But nevertheless, our systems are strong. We have natural immunity now because we've had the COVID. So now our bodies are on alert. Everything inside of us is on the alert. So when if it even think it smells COVID, it's going to go to in the attack mode, and it's going to fight that illness off. Now there's a new variant out that they said was started in Africa, but I don't believe it started in Africa. I believe it was discovered in someone from Africa, because though it was found in Africa initially, that does not mean it started there. Someone could have went to Africa and took it with them. So I don't say it started there, or Africa was the origin state. I'll just simply say someone contracted it, and that's the first case that was discovered of this new variant, Omicron, in Africa. So these variants, this disease is constantly mutating. It's constantly morphing into from one type of virus to another. Somebody said, well, Pastor Willie, aren't you going to tell people to go get a vaccine? No. Even though my wife and I have had both shots, and there's also a booster shot available now because they know the other two wasn't strong enough. So that's where the booster came from. I'm not going to tell people what to do with their own bodies. That's up to them, their doctors, and for their healthcare professionals to discuss and to talk about. If I tell people, go get the vaccine, get the vaccine, get the vaccine, that does not mean they're going to do it. Number two, if I tell people to get the vaccine and they do, and they end up having a severe reaction from the vaccine, they're going to say I had something to do with that. Even though you are an adult to make your own decisions as an adult, whether you should take the vaccine or not, that's up to you. But people want to blame, well, Pastor Willie said go take it. So all of his pastoral influence, I decided to go do it. I'm not going to tell you to take it. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm going to tell you to pray and seek the Lord on it. Some people it does negatively impact. Some people it doesn't have any negative effect on at all. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. You make that decision on your own. You're an adult. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a certified nurse assistant like my daughter Christiana. So I am not going to tell you what to do. Pray, seek God. Talk to your medical care specialist, especially your doctor or doctors, and let them advise you on what they believe is best based on your health needs, and maybe some pre-existing conditions that you have. Sometimes people don't just die, due to COVID. They die with COVID and some other body intrusions, that sicknesses and diseases that have already been working on underlying conditions that they have, or preconditions that they have in their health categories in their bodies. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. You make that decision on your own. But I'm simply thankful that my wife Anita and I, we are fully recovered. We're blessed. We're well. We're healthy. We're grown. I went from 260 to 220 pounds. So that was a 40-pound weight loss. Well, I've gained 20 back. I was so thin at the time when some of our church members had saw me when they come to bring us some food and cut our grass for us. And I love them and appreciate it for what they've done. They looked at me. I could tell the horror that was in their eyes. They had never seen me so thin in my life. I had never seen me so thin in my life either. But nevertheless, we're healed, whole, healthy, sound, and preserved. We're blessed. Our needs are met. Our bills are paid. Debts are canceled. And we're just thankful to our Heavenly Father. Again, I'm Pastor Willie. I pastor Word Life Ministries International Church, 6075 6075. That's 6075 Winchester in the Hickory Ridge Mall in Memphis, Tennessee. We meet on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. I am a word-based, spirit-filled, anointed Bible teacher, not a preacher. I'm a teacher. So if you're looking for, the hoop, holler, scream, shout, yell, that's not me. I am a Bible teacher. I break things down to where you can hear it, believe it, receive it, understand it, take it forth and get your results, and then begin to grow and develop in the Lord. So we love you and appreciate you. If you need to call our ministry, the number is 901-570-3693. That's 901-570-3693. You stay blessed. I'll see you next time.